Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa. Wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da wa ba'd. Alhamdulillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us, in which we are now continuing forward. We've moved past the author's introduction and the introductory remarks, in which we are now formally headed into the text, the clarification of the methodology of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal in creed and propagation. We are now at the first research, the first objective. So the first research is sort of, I suppose you would call that the first unit, and the first objective is the first chapter in that unit. We are at the 2nd of Jumada al-Akhirah, 1442, on a Friday. So we will be starting from what the Shaikh Mustafa Hamdu Ulayyan collected from the muraji' that we've discussed, and their introductory remarks, and the statements on that will be in the description box, inshallah, for those who are interested. So we will start the text formally, and the methodology that I will use will be the same that I've employed for the tafsir of Imam ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah, quote, close quote, so that way you'll be able to distinguish between when I stop and make a statement and when the author has made a statement or the texts that are therein. This will be extremely useful, inshallah, when going through the text, so you can differentiate between his words and my words. So we will start. Quote, المبحث الأول التعريف بالإمام أحمد بن حنبل ومدرسته. Unit 1. Familiarizing ourselves with the Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal and his school. إن الإمام أحمد من أعلم أهل الحديث رواية ودراية، وهو الثابت في المحنة الذي رد الله به الفتنة، وإن الانتساب إليه لشرف عظيم، لكن لابد أن يكون هذا الانتساب صحيحا وليس ادعاء يدعيه الإنسان، بل لابد من الأدلة والبراهين من أقوال الإمام أحمد، وأقواله موجودة ومذهبه مستمر. Indeed, the Imam Ahmad is from the most knowledgeable of the people of hadith in narration and diligent examination and understanding of the text. He is the one who remained firm during the Inquisition, in which Allah used him to repel tribulations and trials. Indeed, being connected to him or attached to him is a huge honor indeed. But it's necessary that this attachment to him be authentic and not merely a claim that the human being might put forward. It's necessary that this attachment be established by evidences and proofs from the words of the Imam Ahmad himself and his statements. وَأَقْوَالُهُ مَوْجُودَةٌ وَمَذْهَبُهُ مُسْتَمَرٌ. His statements are present with us today, and his madhab is long-standing and established. المطلب الأول, Chapter 1, التعريف بالإمام أحمد. Beginning the discussion to familiarize oneself with Imam Ahmad. الإمام أحمد بن حنبل هو سيد المحدثين وإمام الفقهاء في عصره، ورافع لواء أهل السنة، هو إمام المذهب الحنبلي، بنى مذهبه على أصول جليلة، فتلقاه من بعده أئمة كبار عملوا على نشر المذهب في العراق والشام ومصر والجزيرة العربية. The Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he is the master of the hadith scholars, the Imam of the fiqh scholars in his time. He is the one who rose the banner of Muslim orthodoxy. He is the Imam of the Hanbali madhab. He built his madhab upon noble and well brought about principles. And those who took after him from the senior Imams acted upon that aspect and spread the madhab in Iraq, Sham, Egypt, and عربية. والإمام أحمد طاف الدنيا ليجمع فقه الفقهاء وحديث الحفاظ فتفرغ للاختيار والتنقيح. And the Imam Ahmad, he moved around throughout the earth to gather together the fiqh of the fiqh scholars, the hadith of the memorizers, until he completed this and sat down to choose between this and critically analyze. قال أحمد بن شاذان العجلي. Ahmad ibn Shadhan al-Ijli remarked, سمعت أحمد يقول سافرت في طلب العلم والسنة إلى الثغور والشامات والسواحل والمغرب والجزائر ومكة. I heard Ahmed saying, I traveled seeking knowledge and the Sunnah to the borders, to the far-flung areas, to the hinterlands, to the west, to the islands and peninsulas, Makkah wal Madinah wal Hijaz, to Mecca, to Al Madinah, the Hijaz, wal Yemen, to the Yemen, wal Iraqiyin jami'an, and to all of the Iraqis that had the knowledge, wa ardi Hawran, and to the land of Hawran, wa Faris wa Khurasan, and to Persia and Khurasan, wal Jibali wal Atraf, and to the mountains and all manner of far-flung area. فالإمام أحمد بعد أن جمع الأحاديث تفرغ الاختيار والتنقيح. So the Imam Ahmad, after he'd gathered together all the ahadith, he completed this by sitting down to choose between the principles mentioned therein, researching them and elucidating them. فكان فقهه دقيقا مبنيا على الأدلة الصحيحة. And thus his fiqh was precise and built upon authentic evidences. As a footnote to this is taken from Tabaqat al-Hanabila volume 1, page 47. Ismuhu wa nasabuhu, his name and his lineage. هو أبو عبد الله أحمد بن محمد بن حنبل بن هلال الذهلي الشيباني. He is the father of Abdullah, Ahmed, the son of Muhammad, the son of Hanbal, the son of Hilal, الذهلي الشيباني. كان أبوه محمد بن حنبل قائدا وجنديا في جيش خراسان. His father's name was Muhammad ibn Hanbal, and he was a leader as well as a soldier in the army at Khurasan. ومات شابا له نحو من 30 سنة. And he died as a young man while only 30 years of age. Now this discussion is mentioned in Manaqib al-Imam Ahmad, page 42, and also in another book entitled Ahmad ibn Hanbal by Abdul Ghani al-Daqar, page 19, and Ibn Hanbal by Muhammad Abu Zahra, page 17. مولده, his birth. قال صالح قال لي أبي ولدت في ربيع الأول سنة 64 و100 وربي يتيما. Salih, the son of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, said, my father mentioned to me, I was born in Rabi' al-Awwal in the year 164, and I was raised as an orphan. طلبه الحديث ومحبته للعلم. His seeking out the hadith and his love of knowledge. قال الخطيب البغدادي ولد أبو عبد الله ببغداد ونشأ بها وطلب العلم بها ثم رحل إلى الكوفة والبصرة ومكة والمدينة واليمن والشام والجزيرة. Abu Abdullah Ahmad ibn Hanbal was born in Baghdad, raised therein. He sought knowledge there, then traveled to Kufa, Al-Kufa, then Al-Basra, Mecca, Al-Madinah, Al-Yemen, Sham, and Arabiya. وقال Abdullah, and Abdullah, the son of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he said, سمعت أبي يقول ربما أردت البكور في الحديث فتأخذ أمي بثوبي وتقول حتى تؤذن المؤذن. I heard my father saying, it may have been that I started when I was very young. I began to track out, seeking out hadith. And my mother took me by my clothes and said, track for hadith, move out until you hear the sound of the muezzin, and then disperse and come back. شيوخه, the sheikhs of Imam Ahmad. نحن نعلم أن علم الشريعة لابد فيه من التلقى من المشايخ الكبار. أما من يأخذ العلم من غير أستاذ عالم فإنه سيضل. والإمام أحمد طلب العلم وهو ابن 15 سنة، وعدة شيوخه الذين روى عنهم في المسند 280 ونيف. We know that knowledge of the revealed law, it has to be practiced and taken from competent senior sheikhs and scholars. As far as the one who took the knowledge without a teacher that was competent, then indeed he shall certainly go astray. In a note, علق شيخنا العلامة إسماعيل بدران هنا فقال, in a note at the bottom, our sheikh, the scholar Ismail Badran, he remarked, فقال, قيل في هذا الخصوص, it's been mentioned on this very specific topic, من اتخذ كتابه شيخه فقد ضل وأضل. Whoever took his books as his sheikh, then indeed he's gone far astray indeed. Imam Ahmad, in returning to the top of the text, the Imam Ahmad sought knowledge and began in earnest when he was 15 years of age. The number of his teachers who he narrated from them in the Musnad was some 280 or more. وقد أخذ الإمام من شيوخ المدارس المتعددة مدرسة أهل الحديث وأهل الرأي وأهل البيت، واجتمع بشيوخ التصوف في عصره. And the Imam took from the sheikhs of a number of schools, particularly the schools of Ahl al-Hadith, the Ahl al-Ray, and the Ahl al-Bayt. وقد التقى الإمام أحمد بتلامذة الإمام جعفر الصادق وأخذ عنهم، وراج في ذلك كتاب بعنوان جعفر الصادق والأئمة الأربعة لأسد حيدر. In a footnote at the bottom of the page, it's mentioned that the Imam Ahmad took from the students of the Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, and he learned from them. For further details, please see the book under the title Ja'far as-Sadiq and the Four Imams by Asad Haidar. Imam Ahmad also took part in the gatherings of the sheikhs of Tasawwuf in his time. ومن مشايخه, and from his sheikhs are Sufyan ibn Uyayna, Ibrahim ibn Sa'd, ويحيى قطان, وهشيم الواسطي, ووكيع وابن علي, وابن مهدي, وعبد الرزاق, وأبو يوسف يعقوب بن إبراهيم الأنصاري, ومحمد بن إدريس الشافعي, وخلائق كثير ذكرهم الحافظ ابن الجوزي وغيره على الحروف المعجم. And it also includes people such as Ibrahim ibn Sa'd, Yahya al-Qattan, Hushaym al-Wasiti, Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah, Ibn Ulayya, Ibn Mahdi, Abdul Razzaq al-Sana'ani, Abu Yusuf, Yaqub ibn Ibrahim al-Ansari, Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i, and many others besides who have been mentioned by the Hafiz, Ibn al-Jawzi, and others, according to how they are alphabetically listed. Amma talamidhuhu. Then we have the students of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. كان يجتمع في مجلس أحمد زهاء 5000 أو يزيدون نحو 500 يكتبون والباقون يتعلمون منه حسن الأدب والسمت. Those who were in the gathering of Imam Ahmad include a number exceeding 5,000 or more. There were approximately 500 who sat and wrote from him, while the remaining learned from him good character and righteousness. وممن روى عن إمامنا المبجل, and from those who narrated from our noble Imam, عبد الرزاق وابن مهدي ويزيد بن هارون وعلي بن المديني والبخاري ومسلم وأبو داود وأبو زرع الرازي وأبو زرع الدمشقي وإبراهيم الحربي وأبو بكر الأثرم والبغوي وابن أبي الدنيا وأبو حاتم الرازي وأحمد بن الحواري وحنبل بن إسحاق وعثمان بن سعيد الدارمي والمروذي وخلائق كثيرون ذكرهم الحافظ ابن الجوزي ومناقب على حروف المعجم. There are people such as Abdul Razak al-Sana'ani, Ibn Mahdi, Yazid ibn Harun, Ali ibn al-Madini, Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari, Muslim ibn al-Hajjaj al-Naysaburi, Abu Dawood al-Sijistani, Abu Zur'a al-Razi, Abu Zur'a al-Dimashqi, Ibrahim al-Harbi, Abu Bakr al-Athram, al-Baghawi, Ibn Abi Dunya, Abu Hatim al-Razi, Ahmad ibn Abi al-Hawari, Hanbal ibn Ishaq, Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Darimi, al-Marruzi, and many more that have been mentioned by the Hafiz ibn al-Jawzi in his al-Manaqib under alphabetical order. وقد اجتمع بالإمام الشافعي وكل منهما أخذ عن الآخر. And he was also in the gathering of Imam Shafi'i, and each one of them, Imam Shafi'i and Imam Ahmad, they took one from another and exchanged knowledge. من عبادته وجهاده. Examples from his worship and his jihad. وقد كان الإمام أحمد عابدا زاهدا ومجاهدا كثير الصيام والقيام، وهذا من صفات طالب العلم الشرعي. قال المروذي: رأيت أبا عبد الله يقوم لورده قريبا من نصف الليل حتى يقارب السحر. The Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal was a worshipper, one abstentious in this earthly life, a mujahid, one who often fasted, and as well as standing in the night. This is from the attributes of the student of knowledge of the revealed law. Al-Marruzi has remarked, I saw Abu Abdullah standing to do his wird of worship sometime around after half the night had elapsed, and he carried on in this way until it was close to morning. وَكَانَ يَصُومُ وَيَدْمِنُ. And he would fast regularly. ثُمَّ يُفْتِرُ. Then he would break his fast, masha'Allah, according to how Allah willed. So sometimes he would fast and sometimes he would not fast. وَلَا يَتْرُكُ صَوْمَ الْإِثْنَيْنِ وَالْخَمِيسِ وَأَيَّامِ الْبِيضِ. But he never left the fast of Mondays, Thursdays, and the 13th, 14th, and 15th of each month. وقال العباس بن أبي طالب. Al-Abbas ibn Abi Talib remarked, سمعت إبراهيم بن شماس. I heard Ibrahim ibn Shimas say, قال كنت أعرف أحمد بن حنبل وهو غلام وهو يحيي الليل. He said, I knew Ahmad ibn Hanbal from the time he was a very young man, and he used to stay awake in the night. وكان يختم القرآن من جمعة إلى جمعة وإذا ختم دعا ونحن نؤمن. And he would always make khatam of the Quran on a Jumu'ah, from Jumu'ah to Jumu'ah. And when he would do the khatam, he would make dua, and we would say Ameen after his dua. من جهاده, now from his jihad, قال عبد الله ibn Mahmud ibn al-Faraj. It was mentioned by Abdullah ibn Mahmud ibn al-Faraj. سمعت عبد الله ibn Ahmad. Abdullah ibn Ahmad, I heard him saying, يقول خرج أبي إلى طرسوس. My father headed out to Tarsus, ورابط بها, and he was stationed there for battle. وغزا, and he marched out for offensive jihad and fought. ثم قال أبي, then my father said, رأيت العلم بها يموت. I saw knowledge die there at that place. شهادة العلماء له بالإمامة. The scholars bearing witness of his imamship. لابد للعالم أن يشهد له بالعلم شيوخه وأهل العلم في عصره وقد شهد لإمامه شيوخه وأقرانه منهم. It's necessary that the whole world testify that the knowledge of this particular imam, his sheikhs, and the people of his time that had knowledge. His sheikhs testified to his knowledge, and his contemporaries, who include الإمام الشافعي. إمام الشافعي قال الربيع بن سليمان قال لنا الشافعي أحمد إمام في 8 خصال. الربيع bin Sulaiman has said, Imam Shafi'i said to us that Imam Ahmad is Imam in 8 matters. إمام في الحديث, an imam in hadith. إمام في الفقه, an imam in fiqh. إمام في اللغة, imam in Arabic language. إمام في القرآن, imam in the Quran. إمام في الفقر, the imam in abstention and neediness to Allah. Imam في الزهد, the imam in abstention. Imam في الورع, the imam in avoiding harmful matters and even the permitted matters out of righteousness for Allah. Imam في الsunnah, and an imam in the sunnah. And this is mentioned in Tabaqat al-Hanabila, volume 1, page 3, by Abu al-Hussein al-Baghdadi. وقال حرملة, and Al-Harmala has also mentions, سمعت الشافعي يقول, I heard Imam Shafi'i say, خرجت من بغداد فما خلفت بها رجلا أفضل ولا أعلم ولا أفقى ولا أتقى من أحمد بن حنبل. When I left Baghdad, I did not leave behind therein a man more virtuous, more knowledgeable of fiqh, and more pious than Ahmad ibn Hanbal. وقد اجتمع الإمام أحمد بالإمام الشافعي وكل منهما أخذ عن الآخر وقد استفاد كل منهما من الآخر. And Imam Ahmad was in the gathering with Imam Shafi'i, and they each exchanged knowledge with each other. One would take from another, and then another would benefit from another, and so forth. قال أبو حاتم أحمد أكبر من الشافعي. Ahmad is greater than Imam Shafi'i. وإنما أخذ الشافعي معرفة الحديث من أحمد. And it's only the case that Imam Shafi'i took the knowledge of hadith, its transmitters and such, from Imam Ahmad. وأخذ أحمد عنه التفتيق واللغة لغة قريش. And Ahmad took from him taftiq as well as lugha, the language of the Quraysh. Now in the notes it's mentioned وشهد بذلك أبو حاتم وأبو زرعة وابن رواها. This was witnessed by Abu Hatim, Abu Zur'a, and Ishaq ibn Rahuway, that Imam Ahmad was greater than Imam Shafi'i. There is also a note, تعلق شيخنا للعلامة إسماعيل بدران في معنى التفتيق. Our Shaykh, the scholar Ismail Badran, said of the meaning of the word taftiq, فقال طلاقة اللسان واستخراج الشيء من الشيء. This is the proper gathering of language and taking things from one place to another with proper understanding. كالاجتهاد مثلا, like ijtihad for example. قال إمام الدين بن كثير رحمه الله. Ibn Kathir said في البداية والنهاية, in his book البداية والنهاية, وقد قال الشافعي لأحمد لما اجتمع به في رحلة الثانية إلى بغداد سنة 90 و100 وعمر أحمد إذ ذاك نيف 30 سنة, قال له يا أبا عبد الله إذا صح عندكم الحديث فعلمني به أذهب إليه حجازيا كان أو شاميا أو عراقيا أو يمانيا. Imam Shafi'i said to Imam Ahmad when they gathered together on his second journey to Baghdad in the year 190, and Imam Ahmad at this point was approaching 30 years. He said to him, Abu Abdullah, when there is an authentic narration according to you, then teach me it. Adhabu ilayhi, I will go to it, whether it is a narration from the people of Hijaz, Sham, Iraq, or Yemen. ثم قال ابن كثير وقول الشافعي له هذه المقالة تعظيم لأحمد. Ibn Kathir went on to say, the statement of Imam Shafi'i in this remark is a tremendous rank of respect shown to Imam Ahmad. وإجلال له وأنه عنده بهذه المثابة إذا صح أو ضعف يرجع إليه, because this honor being shown to him, that he has this rank and this establishment, that when something is authentic or weak, that he will return to him as an authority. وقد كان الإمام أحمد بهذه المثابة عند الأئمة والعلماء. And Imam Ahmad had this rank. He possessed this in the presence of the Imams as well as high-ranking scholars. وقد بعد صيته في زمانه واشتهر اسمه في شبيبته في الآفاق. And in addition to this, his voice spread far and wide in his time, and his name was well known in his youth and in his old age across all the horizons. انتهى كلام ابن كثير وقد كانت المودة والمحبة بين الإمامين مشهورة. And this is the end of the statement of Ibn Kathir on this topic. And keep in mind that the love and companionship and mutual respect between these two Imams was well known. Al-Imam Abdul Razzaq al-San'ani, Sahib al-Musannaf. We then have the statement of the Imam Abdul Razzaq al-San'ani, the author of the text al-Musannaf. وقال عبد الرزاق الصنعاني ما رأيت أحدا أفقه ولا أورع من أحمد بن حنبل. قال الذهبي قال هذا وقد رأى مثل الثوري ومالك وابن جريج. Abdul Razaq al-San'ani said, I have not seen anyone more knowledgeable of fiqh or righteousness than Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Al-Dhahabi, in commenting upon this statement, remarked, he is saying this when he has seen Sufyan al-Thawri, Malik ibn Anas, as well as Ibn Jurayj. Al-Imam ibn Rahawayh. We then have the statement of Ishaq ibn Rahawayh. He remarked, قال Muhammad ibn Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, was said by Muhammad ibn Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, حدثني أبي, my father remarked to me, قال لي أحمد بن حنبل. Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he said to me. Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he said to me, تعال حتى أريك من لم يرى مثله فذهب بي إلى الشافعي. قال أبي وما رأى الشافعي مثل أحمد بن حنبل ولولا أحمد وبذل نفسه لذهب الإسلام يريد المحنة. He said, come with me, so I can show you someone whose like has not been seen. فذهب بي إلى الشافعي. So he took me to الشافعي. قال أبي, my father said, وما رأى الشافعي مثل أحمد بن حنبل. And الشافعي has not seen the like of Ahmad bin Hanbal. ولولا أحمد وبذل نفسه, had it not been for Imam Ahmad and his sacrifice and effort, لذهب الإسلام. Islam would have been taken away and done with and done for. And he meant by that the Great Inquisition that came. وروي عن إسحاق ibn Rahawayh, and the son of Ishaq ibn Rahawayh narrated from him this. He also narrated that Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, he remarked, وروي عن إسحاق ibn Rahawayh قال أحمد حجة بين الله وبين خلقه. Ahmad ibn Hanbal is a proof between Allah and his creation. وقال إسحاق ibn Rahawayh أيضا, and Ishaq ibn Rahawayh went on to say, كنت أجالس أحمد وابن معين نتذاكر فأقول ما فقهه ما تفسيره فيسكتون إلى أحمد. I was sitting at a gathering in which Imam Ahmad and Yahya ibn Ma'in were present, and we were reflecting and reviewing our knowledge. And I said, what is the fiqh of this? What is the tafsir of this? What does this mean? And everyone was silent except Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Ibn Abi Shaybah, Sahib al-Musannaf. We then have the statement of Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah, the author of al-Musannaf, who remarked, قال أبو بكر ibn Abi Shaybah لا يقال لأحمد بن حنبل من أين قلت لأنه لا يقول شيئا إلا بأثر بعد تمحيصه وتنقيحه. It was never said to Imam Ahmad, where did you say that from? Because he didn't say anything except there was a narrative. And after that narrative was listed, he would cite its delicate issues and its research and its deeper penetrating insights. Abu Dawood al-Sijistani, Sahib al-Sunan. The statement of Abu Dawood, the author of al-Sunan. قال أبو داود لقيت 200 من مشايخ العلم فما رأيت مثل أحمد بن حنبل لم يكن يخوض في شيء مما يخوض فيه الناس من أمر الدنيا فإذا ذكر العلم تكلم. I have met some 200 sheikhs of knowledge, and I haven't seen anyone like Ahmad bin Hanbal. He never would dispute in the things that the people would argue about from the earthly affairs, but whenever the knowledge happened to be mentioned, that is when he would speak. Ibrahim al-Harbi. We then have the statement of Ibrahim al-Harbi. قال إبراهيم الحربي كل شيء أقول لكم هذا قول أصحاب الحديث فهو قول أحمد بن حنبل وهو ألقى في قلوبنا منذ كنا غلمانا اتباع الحديث الرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأقاويل الصحابة واقتداء بالتابعين. Everything I say to you, this is the statement. هذا قول أصحاب الحديث. This is a statement of the people of hadith. It's the statement of Ahmad bin Hanbal. He is the one that put in our hearts since we were young to be followers of the hadith of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the statements of the companions, and to follow those who also came after the companions of the tabi'een. And this is mentioned in Tabaqat al-Hanabila by Ibn Abi Ya'la, rahimahullah, volume 1, page 234. مقدار حفظه, the level of his حفظ. قال عبد الله بن أحمد قال لي أبو زرعة أبوك يحفظ ألف حديث فقيل له وما يدريك قال ذاكرته فأخذت عليه الأبواب. Abdullah, the son of Ahmad bin Hanbal, said, Abu Zur'a said to me, your father memorized 1,000,000 ahadith. It was said to him, how do you know that? He said, because I reviewed over them with him and organized them into chapters. Close quote. So this is the first portion that we've reached, inshaAllah, in our text. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us to hear about some of the early life of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. It's been an absolute pleasure to read through this. It is our niyyah that our next class will be looking at the marja'iyah, the authority of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal over the ummah, his struggles in the Great Inquisition. And so we'll be finishing the first chapter, under Unit 1, and we'll be looking to go to Chapter 2 in Unit 1, inshaAllah. And this will mention some of the senior scholars of the school and their rank and their blessings. So we'll be seeing something about this and talking about this. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us. And I hope that a lot of the goodness that we've witnessed today, that we're able to appreciate it for what it is. Namely, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put goodness on us in the first 3 generations of this ummah, that the best of my generation is my generation, then those who come next, and those who come next, as mentioned in the Sahih of Imam Muslim. So I hope that all of us take heed of this, and take heed of all of the Imams from the companions to the time of Imam Ahmad, the greatest of these. From Ahmad to Ahmad, there is no better Ahmad than Ahmad. So he is the greatest of the Imams of the third age, and their torchbearer, the greatest theologian this ummah has ever seen. We hope to see more about his history, inshaAllah. So I say, Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk innahu ghafurur rahim yarhamir rahimin wa la ilaha illa Allah. Wassalamu alaikum.